This is the non-skid just aft of the helm. Not sure when or how this happened. Looks like a dinghy motor got set down hard on its way on or off of the boat. You can't know the full extent of the damage until you pick away the non-adherent gel coat. The challenge now is matching the pattern of the non-skid. Andy at Boatworks Today is an expert on gel coat repair. He has a series of excellent videos on the topic, including one on making a custom non-skid mold out of gel coat and fiberglass. I'll put links in the description, but here's a sample.
If you happen to get a scratch or a ding or a chip or whatever in your non-skid. Now the first step in this process is we need to make sure that everything that we lay on here is going to be able to pop back off. So I'm going to come in and spray very fine mist coats of PVA or polyvinyl alcohol. That's going to create our release film that we'll be able to basically build on top of, and if we're lucky, be able to pull everything back apart without causing any damage. So next step that we're going to be doing is we're going to be pouring in some gel coat in over top of this existing texture. And if you use a brush for pushing this gel coat around, just do so very lightly. You don't want to accidentally tear your film of PVA with the brush. So all I'm going to be doing is applying or laminating 2 layers of 1.5 ounce chop strand. Oh hell, this is popping right off. Now be very generous when you're pouring in your gel coat. You want the excess to squeeze out, and you need to make sure that you have enough gel coat laid into your repair area to where it will completely fill and give you a good positive casting. So I'm going to be laying a perfectly flat piece of plywood on top and then weighting it down with 2 cans of paint. Well, it is the following morning, so let's peel this off and see how it turned out. And all of this excess gel coat that basically got squeezed out when we put the mold down, this was laid right over top of PVA. Well, after a little bit of picking away at the edges, getting all this excess flaked off, it turned out fantastic.
Okay, seems easy enough. Let's give it a shot. I'm going to put a couple more layers of tape just to build that up to get a thickness to the gel coat. Okay, we've got gel coat white without wax from Total Boat. There's 10. There's 20 milliliters. 4 drops per 10 cc, so 8 drops. It's over 90 already, headed for 97 today. And I guess if I brush it, I gotta be real careful not to tear up the polyvinyl alcohol, right? I just want to get it gently to my edges. Okay, it's about 4 hours later. This has dried, so it's tacky. It's not cracked. I'm going to put a layer of fiberglass, 2 layers of fiberglass over the top now. It is The GoPro actually shut down this morning because it got too hot, and now it is 99 degrees out here. So why am I doing it this afternoon? Because there's going to be rain the next 5 days in the forecast, so it's either now or a week from now. So I'm going to start by wetting it out a little bit. I'll put the small one down. Oh, I think this will be enough. Oh, yeah, it's going to be enough. This should help lay it down. Yeah, this is already kicking, getting exothermic. It's hot. We're already at 99 degrees. Andy says that after it's dried, he coats it with PVA, so the gel coat will harden. I would have thought that the fiberglass and epoxy would have made an airtight barrier, but maybe not. I will just do what he does. I'm only doing this step because Andy said we should do it. And come back after the rain and see how we did. Here we are, harvest day. Okay, the question is it going to come away, or did I destroy the non-skid here by trying to do this? I think it's going to come away. Oh, wow. Oh, that looks pretty good. All that, yeah, so it came right off. The PVA is all that's on there. That'll wash off with water. So, all right, needs a little work, but I think it's, so far, I think we're headed the right way. So here's the form I'm going to use to try and reestablish the texture of the non-skid. Instead of tape, what if I apply polyvinyl alcohol everywhere I would want to avoid gel coat sticking? Going to start by coating the form with polyvinyl alcohol so the gel coat won't stick to it. Do 4 coats like that. I'm going to start with thin layers of gel coat at first, but then when we do our final layer to compress with the mold, that'll be a thicker layer. Okay, I'm going to go for this one now, but I'm thinking I need this fairly thick at this point. And I guess the risk when you do things thick is that you get air bubbles in there. Okay. Okay, next day, did this work or not? The answer is not. One critical error and a couple of small things I could have done better. The critical error is trying to do this on a hot, humid day. The gel coat is just not going to cure properly. It would have been better to secure the mold with a hinge of tape on one edge rather than freehanding it. Also, a sandbag is a much better option for weighting the mold down. So I've got this back to a workable state. One thing I would say, the color matching is excellent. That's the best color matching I've done. I give myself an A on that color match, but of course the technical repair gets an F. It's probably 81 degrees. It's always a bit humid in Florida. It's overcast. So this is in marked contrast to all those days when we were doing it in the 90s and things didn't work that great. Anyway, so it's a lot more comfortable and hopefully this will go well. I'm going to tackle this guy here. So I'm going to start by getting my overlay prepared. Marked it how it needs to be positioned. That's how I want it to end up. So the foam brush seems like the best way to apply the PVA, the polyvinyl alcohol. And it's so important to do a thin layer initially and give it plenty of drying time. On a 95-degree day, that might be 30 minutes, but on a beautiful day like this, when it's 81, could be 45 minutes or even longer. So we're not going to rush this. We're just going to give it a lot of time. Okay, color matching one last time, hopefully. I have about 50 milliliters of gel coat with no wax in here. It's starting to get a little brown to it. I'm gonna grab some yellow. I think that looks really good. Okay. I'm sure that is way more than enough. I filled this bag with sandy dirt to weight it. It should conform. I'll leave it overnight and see how I did tomorrow. Okay, we'll see how we did. So initial impression, not too bad. So the tape I laid down has created these sharp angles, which are no good, and the repair has raised the thickness of tape above the surface. Should have just done PVA like I did on the first try. This repair would have worked if I had used PVA instead of tape as my barrier. With the way I did it, the mold is resting on the tape, making the surface of the gel coat repair higher than the native surface. Since this is non-skid, it can't be sanded back like we do for other repairs. At this point, I wrongly started thinking that the stiff fiberglass back mold might be making this more difficult. So I started looking for a flexible alternative. I browsed through the Gibco Flex Mold site and ordered a sample of a pattern I thought might match my non-skid. So here's the Flex Mold sample I got. And the question is it the same as that? So the firm mold did not work out very well. It didn't work out good enough. So I started thinking about ways to do a flexible mold, and I'm opting for a silicone mold. I'll show you the kit. This is the craft kit I got, the J Diction. It's got some measuring beakers. It's supposed to be weighed, so I have my wife's Weight Watcher scale. And it's got a part A and a part B. But I'm gonna pour it right here. I've got a tuna can that I've got to attach to this in an airtight, or at least a watertight way, because the mold material itself is extremely runny. So I'm going to use hot glue to seal this. So I poured exactly 83 grams of A and B, and they say to mix for 5 minutes. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll do a little test pour to make sure we're not leaking. Hope this is enough. Ideally, I'd like to have about a 1/4 inch thickness. Okay, let's see if we got leaks. Now I wish I would have done it up here on a flatter area. No leaks yet. Just do the whole thing, it'll come out kind of thick. So let's see how we did. My tuna can leaked a little bit. This stuff should come up just fine, and it does. Yep, comes right up. It's probably too thick, right? But I think we have the shape there. I think we should give it a try. All right, I'm gonna put tape along here, but otherwise I'm just putting polyvinyl alcohol wherever I don't want the gel coat to stick. And that's anywhere where there already is texture. Coat the textured side of this. I don't know if I need to. I don't know if gel coat would stick to this or not. Another shot at color matching here. This is maybe the best gel coat day I've had. 81 degrees, 70% humidity. People would say that's too humid for gel coat, but we just don't get any better than that in Florida. So here we go again. I'll just mention it's October 7th, 2 days before Hurricane Milton. I don't think we're going to get much of that here in Fernandina Beach, Amelia Island. I can't decide, I can't figure out what I should do to change the color, so I don't know how to make it different. add more yellow? I don't think so. It's already brown enough as well. So I have two layers of gel coat already started. Gonna put it on in the same orientation it was made. So it'll be like this. All right, let's see how this did. Oh my gosh. Did it do pretty good? Let's wash the PVA off and see. The texture's pretty good. The color matching's terrible. I couldn't believe my color match was this far off. So I pulled out my uncatalyzed mixing jar and made the comparison. Yep, my color match was that far off. I remember being pretty bold with the black when I started the color matching that day. The silicone mold was fantastic for reconstructing the non-skid texture and a lot easier to make than the fiberglass back gel coat. This color matching fail haunted me at first. I thought about chiseling it out and redoing it, but at this point, I really don't notice it when I'm out sailing. I think I'll just let it be. I experimented with a lot of different approaches for filling small defects in the non-skid. I've settled on pinpoint sanding, followed by a dab of gel coat delivered using a 1cc syringe and a 14 gauge blunt tip needle.